also want to give a shout out to our amazing team working behind the scene. Those handling the technical setup, those handling the Zoom room, and every other person who has in one way or the other made sure that this event is a success. And let me tell you, for this event to be coming to you, it takes a lot of love, a lot of commitment and planning for us to have this kind of event. Alright, so let's get into the reason why we are here today. Now today we promise we are going to be super fast so that you have time to get on with your other business of the day. Now last week we started this 30 days healthy food challenge. Detoxification is just the first step. Now after detoxification, the next question becomes, how do we now reduce internal inflammation and in order for us to make good living or good health sustainable? Now that is why our focus for this week is very important. Now this week we are focusing on anti-inflammatory foods and probiotics. Reason why we are doing that is after cleansing, it's always good to give the body what it wants. Remember, the cleansing and detoxification is just like you cleansing your body or cleansing your home, making it free for something to be there, and you can't just leave your body like that. Now that is where probiotics comes in, but we are going to talk more about that as we go. Now a lot of people eat what they believe to be healthy, but they wonder why they still have the challenges of being fatigued, having joint pain, or all these frequent sicknesses. Now what they don't know is the food we eat, how we prepare them, and the kind of material we use in preparing them most times are actually the main reason why we have these challenges. That is why this week's focus is very important. Now before we get right to preparing the breakfast, so I'm going to be starting with our first anti-inflammatory drink, that our turmeric, our ginger, our pineapple, or green apple. So we are going to be using green apple instead of pineapple. So you don't necessarily have to use the two together. You either use your green apple or your pineapple. So, but what if one decides to add a little bit of this? Still the same thing. Okay. Alright. So you might want to know that you don't necessarily have to prepare your anti-inflammatory drink together with your oat granola. Maybe you can take your anti-inflammatory drink, say like about 30 minutes or 1 hour before you go into making your oat granola, and your green tea, like you mentioned, you can just
is in view, because prevention is actually key. And then the fact that God has blessed us enough with the natural food to eat as medicine again. And also a very big, we should appreciate the platform, PL Transform, that has given that platform to us to be able to create more awareness on how to save people's life, help them prevent whatever health issues or health challenges whatsoever. So this is our second week on our 30 days plant-based diet, and this week is focusing on anti-inflammatory. And the reason why is that a lot of people are suffering from different diseases that could and can be prevented, by just eating healthy and staying healthy. So the idea is to identify what is it and that I can eat that can help me stay healthy and prevent me from falling sick. So for this week, we have carefully, put together most of the anti-inflammatory food together to help us, in form of the right position and recipes that we can consume just to help us and prevent us from falling sick. So, like Ms. Gladys said, for those that have concerns, questions, please let us know. We are very much available to help you, channel you, and put you through. So without wasting much of our time, we'll just go straight up into the presentation. anti-inflammatory foods, and how to ward off inflammation from the body. That's basically what we're going to be talking about. Can I have the next slide? So basically, he's saying inflammation is the body's protective response to injury, infection, and stress. Now, in simple terms, what we're talking about is that normally when the body is inflamed, we're looking at how quick the body is able to come in, to protect, more like the immune system, the protective mechanism. So when something is inflamed, that means it's more like there's an injury somewhere. Just like when we say somebody has ulcer, peptic ulcer. Now, when we're talking about peptic ulcer, we are talking about the stomach lining, which is the mucous membrane, being inflamed, more like there's an injury on that membrane, that cell membrane. That's why there's always like a reaction anytime the person is eating or not eating or eat some kind of food and all that, because the injury is there and the injury needs to heal up completely. That's a typical example. And any part of the body can be inflamed. Aside from the stomach lining, it could be on the surface of the skin, it could be from the bone where we have acute arthritis and stuff like that. So any part of the body can be inflamed. So the idea is we're now trying to bring about anti-inflammatory food that will help prevent most of all of these things. So we have what we call the acute inflammation, which is usually short term, and then the chronic, which is usually more long term. And this actually are always predisposing people to most chronic diseases, basically. Now, what causes this inflammation? Poor diet. Poor diet is one major factor. In fact, it's almost 60 to 70%, 60% basically. So poor diet, where your diet is high in sugar and refined carbohydrates, it can cause inflammation. So we need to be careful. And that's the reason why we have this menu plan for us. So we need to be careful with the amount of sugar, granulated sugar, refined sugar that we're consuming on daily basis, from our diets. So poor diet can actually cause inflammation. Sedentary lifestyle can also cause inflammation. Smoking and alcohol drinking, oxidative stress can cause inflammation, and then obesity can cause inflammation because of the excess body weight, because of the extra fat in the system. So all of these things are factors that can contribute to different types of inflammation. And why it matters is because chronic inflammation is linked to heart disease. Now, we're talking about what these inflammations can be linked to, what they causes basically can lead to heart disease, different kind of heart disease, cardiac arrest, diabetes, especially type 2 diabetes, arthritis, like I mentioned earlier, autoimmune condition, and obesity. So it's actually very, very important to actually take note of all of this and try as much as possible to prevent. Can I have the next slide? Next slide, please. Can I have the next slide? Yeah, anti-inflammatory food and overview. So now we've been able to take our time to highlight some anti-inflammatory food that we can consume to try as much as possible to make sure that we are able to prevent. Now, eat whole food, including, okay, so when we talk about whole food, when we talk about whole food, we're talking about like brown rice, quinoa, sweet potatoes, all those natural old food, Irish potato, depending. Those are what we call whole food, basically. So whole food. Now, spices and with antioxidants. Now, when we talk about spices, there are herbs and there are spices. So we need to be very careful, while picking and identifying. And most of these spices and herbs, they are high in lots of antioxidants that can help to protect the body, that can help to prevent. They have lots of anti-inflammatory properties. Like ginger is a very good spice, and ginger is high in cumin, which is very good anti-inflammatory and they can do a lot. They help to fight lots of bacteria, they fight viruses, whatever it is. So ginger is good. Turmeric is another very healthy spice that you can never go wrong with. They have active compound called cumin, which is very good. So you can, I think the chef made turmeric milk or something with turmeric, which is very good. You can always find a way to include most of these spices in your diet, anyhow you are able to. Like you can make it as a meal, you can include it in your food preparation. Maybe you're making your soup, your stew, whatever you are doing. Just have a way of incorporating these spices to your diet and consuming them regularly on a daily basis, you know. So balanced omega-3 fats, we're talking about eating foods that are high in omega-3 fats, like your fatty fish, your salmon, your mackerels, and the likes. Very good. Your what's it called, egg yolk is also high in omega-3 fats, which is very good. Then avoid processed food. Now we're appealing as much as possible to try as much as possible to avoid anything that is processed. Any highly processed food should be prevented because they have preservatives, they have stabilizers, which cause inflammation over a long period of time. And what we're trying to do here is we're trying to prevent any form of inflammation that can lead to any kind of degenerative lifestyle disease. So the idea is to prevent as much as possible. It causes hormonal imbalance as well. All these processed food and the like. So it's always good to limit or avoid or completely stop the consumption. Stay active and be hydrated. Active means that depending on the kind of lifestyle you are living, make sure you are active. Make sure you are walking 30 minutes walk or jog. Make sure you are engaged. That's the idea. Just don't sit in one place. And then we talk about drinking a lot of water. When you take enough water, water will help to flush the system, flush out toxins from the system, basically. So don't wait until you are dehydrated. Don't wait until you are tasty. A lot of people, they will wait until they are very tasty. Some people might drink water just once a day. Some people, it depends. However, the idea is try as much as possible to drink enough water because it helps, it keeps you hydrated, it flushes the system, it facilitates metabolism, it facilitates the digestion process, and so much more. So let's try as much as possible to adopt all those means. Then we have list of anti-inflammatory food. So we've been able to categorize them behind fruits. This is for vegetables. I want the fruits. Anti, yeah, we have oranges, pineapple, pawpaw, watermelon. All of these are high in lots of vitamins and minerals. They are majorly high in vitamin C, vitamin A, and these are components of antioxidants. Now, what they do is that they help to prevent oxidative stress. The number of antioxidants in the system will be higher enough to protect you from falling sick. Oranges are actually very good. Pineapples are actually very good. Every part of pineapple, very good. So let's make sure we are able to consume this almost on a daily basis. Can I have the next slide, which is the vegetables? This is just so we are able to identify when we talk about anti-inflammatory foods. What kind of foods are we talking about? We have our vegetable, we have our spinach, we have our ugu, pumpkin leaf, we have bitter leaf, which is super food. Bitter leaf is a very, very superfood. Bitter leaf as one of the major components we use in managing cancer patients because they are high in lots of antioxidants that help to break down cancer cells, basically. And the way we do our own bitter leaf, if you are eating it, we don't wash it because the more you wash it, the more you are washing all the nutrients. Yes, it's going to be bitter, but that's the active compound that you actually need. So bitter leaf is actually key. Okra is actually very good anti-inflammatory food. Carrots are good anti. So when we talk about vegetables, so these categories are very good. And then they are high in fiber. Now, fiber helps with to clear the bowel. They help with detoxification process. They help in cleansing of the body. So We need fiber in our system, and we recommend you take at least minimum of 40 grams of fiber on a daily basis. And most of all these vegetables are high in fiber, they're high in polyphenols, which supports immune system. Now, immune system is like the defense mechanism, the body's defense mechanism that helps to protect the body from invaders like all the viruses that breaks the body down, all the bacteria that break the body down. So we're talking about avocado, they are super anti-inflammatory food, which is very good. Plant-based oil, if you have to use at all, olive oil, coconut, help, limit or prevent the use of oil, that causes different kind of inflammation. You get so, but if you have to use, make sure it is plant based and you are using it for dressing. You hardly use it for the cooking because there's times you will use them and you destroy them. So it's always very advisable to use them as appropriate. And then oily fish, you have mackerel, sardines, and the likes. So these are just examples of, you know, anti-inflammatory healthy fats that we have. So benefits, omega-3 fatty acid, they help to reduce every form of inflammation and also support the heart health. Can I have the next slide? Can I have the next slide, please? Thank you. Whole grains, I mentioned whole grains earlier. So we talk about brown rice, we talk about rolled oats, millets. If you're able to get across the millet, you can use it to make swallow, you can do make puddings, you can do a whole lot of it from it. Fonio, which is almost popularly known as acha, which is also very good, especially if somebody has blood sugar issues. Very, very awesome. Now, all of these are high in fiber, and then they benefit the gut bacteria as well. And then they help to control blood sugar. And then they also help to facilitate the bowel movement. Some people have complaints like they easily get constipated and the likes, or they have some kind of indigestion, which they don't understand. Most of all these, once they're incorporated in your diet, you see that your bowel flow will be very easy. You wouldn't even stress at all. You'll be able to use the restroom very well and adequately. Can I have the next slide? Can I have the next slide, please? Yes, thank you. So now we have the spices and the herbs. Like I mentioned earlier, we have turmeric, we have ginger, we have garlic, we have cayenne pepper, which is very good. We have basil. All of these are very good to incorporate in our diet. Okay. And what are the benefits? Anti-inflammatory compounds, enhanced flavoring without processed seasoning. Maggi actually causes inflammation, so we need to try as much as possible, and it's very addictive. We need to try as much as possible to reduce it or completely stop the use of Maggi. And that's why we have recommended different herbs and spices for us that we can leverage on and maximize and enjoy the health benefits. Can I have the next slide, please? Can I have the next slide? Recipes. So we have different kind of recipes, just an idea, suggestion for us that we can leverage on and maximize depending. So we have for the vegetables, we have ugu or spinach or bitter leaf. It could be any of them. It's not necessarily you have to just use the whole of them. We have tomatoes, onions, and garlic. So if you're making your spinach soup or bitter leaf soup, you can use your garlic, you can use your onion and spice. Then you can add 1 teaspoon turmeric on ginger. Turmeric and ginger, you can see how potent and active that is. Now, that's medicine basically, because that's more like you're making an anti-inflammatory that can help you prevent any form of inflammation, whatsoever. Seasonal fish soup and lean protein, so even breast. by trying to prevent the use of any form of fat, garlic, ginger. There are the recipes on how to go about it. The idea is that you are making a soup, an anti-inflammatory soup that is going to be very medicinal. So as you are consuming your food, you are consuming medicine because this is going to facilitate the healing process in your body system. So this is just a typical example. Can I have the next slide? Can I have the next slide, please? Yeah, for turmeric and ginger, you could make smoothie out of them. So all of these are just ideas, typical your pawpaw, pineapple, banana, fresh ginger, turmeric, or water. You natural yogurt, depending. So that's just an idea, you know. And then the highly anti-inflammatory drinks that are lots of vitamin minerals. So that's just an idea of a recipe to follow if you are interested. Can I have another slide, please? Now we have for the fish. You can see the mackerel or tilapia. You marinate with your ginger, spice, lemon, black pepper, and so much more. Then how to make it using your Saladmaster. The best way is to use your Saladmaster for grilling. For those that don't have Saladmaster, I will advise you to try as much as possible to get because you can grill easily without contaminating your food. Most times, the system they use in grilling outside exposes whatever food content you are grilling to metal and ions, which are not good for the body because the body cannot break down or digest those metals and ions in the system. But when you use Salad Master for the cooking system for your grilling, you are most certain that there is no heavy metal that will come in contact with your food. So you have your contamination from whatever cookware you are using by using Salad Master. So it's very good actually. So brown rice, vegetable. This is an example. It's just to show us ideas of how we can incorporate lots of anti-inflammatory foods to our diet and help prevent us from falling sick from time to time. So this is just a typical example of a meal. Can I have the next slide? Can I have the next slide, please? An example, how you can regularize this on a daily basis. For those that will say, I don't have the time, I don't know how to go about it. This is just a typical example. For your fruits, you can have diced pawpaw, watermelon, 1 cup a day is fine. Just a way of making sure that you are consuming this food that will help to protect your system. For vegetables, you can have your ugu or spinach. 1 or 2 cup a day is fine. You can use it, you can eat it alone in there. The idea is this is what you should be able to consume regularly in a day. Proteins, your fish or chicken, help as the case may be, then whole grains from your brown rice and millet, depending. Can I have the next slide? How to catch our groups and help us to start a day with, you can do warm lemon water with ginger, depending. You can do a mineralized water. We're talking about food to limit. Sugar, inflammation, this, let's much as possible. Refined carbohydrates, white bread, pasta, spaghetti, all those things, let's try as much as possible to avoid them. All the snacks from the fast food, meat pie, chicken pie, pizza, all those things, they cause inflammation. So let's try as much as possible to avoid this kind of food. You know, deep fried snacks like your Irish potato, French fries, anything that is highly deep fried. We need to try as much as possible to resist from them. Excessive salt, we try and cut down on the consumption of salt, and then processed meat, which is very important, especially the red beef. If you can cut it out completely, let's try as much as possible to cut it out. Then the different lifestyle factor that can help to navigate through. Try as much as possible to be active, minimum of at least 30 minutes a day. Engage yourself and be active. At least try as much as possible to have 7 to 8 hours sleep in a day. Very important, because when your body is sleeping, your body goes into reset mode, and then the healing process also starts from there. So let's try as much as possible to sleep and manage stress. Very important. Anyhow you can manage stress. People manage stress differently. Some people, whenever they are watching movie, they are able to relax. Some people, whenever they are sleeping, whatever as well. All of this will help to get a good lifestyle that will help to prevent you moving forward. Okay. And then in summary, basically, we talked about information, we talked about the diet, we talked about the lifestyle, how you can prevent it, which is very important. Eating colorful foods and whole foods, very important. And then using Nigerian anti-inflammatory recipe. And then let's stay consistent. Consistent is actually key. Not that when you do this today, tomorrow you are off for the next 2, 3 weeks. No. And then just like the people coming, just like when you take your car, after a while, you've used your car, you go to service it, you see that your car is refreshed, your car is more effective and more efficient. So anytime you go through this process, you are also more effective and more efficient, which is actually very good. So let's key into this and replicate this from time to time to time. Thank you. So I think that's the end of the slide for today. If there is any question, I'd like to answer from the chat room. But I think Ms. Gladys highlighted some questions for me earlier. So I don't know if I should throw lights on the questions.
Much, Mr. Tunde. That was quite an eye opener.
Hello?
I believe there's a lot of things most of us didn't know. Okay, so there's this misconception
Hello,
around
Ms.
Nigerian
Gladys.
food. Okay, can you hear me, Mr. Tunde? Can you hear me?
I think I should answer those questions.
Okay, so yes, before we give room for people to ask questions on the chat, there are some frequently asked questions around probiotics, especially in this part of the world. And also there are some
Yes.
misconceptions about probiotics that I would really like you to shed more light on, so that our audience today will leave here better informed on the right choices to make. So I'm just going to read them out, then you take your time to respond to them one by one. So the first question is, are all probiotics beneficial for everyone, or do their effects vary from person to person? Then the second question is...
Yeah, let me just answer almost immediately, if it's okay.
Okay. All right.
They are all probiotics are beneficial to everyone, and at the same time, they vary per person to person based on their individual requirements and their individual needs. Some people are recommended to take it for preventive purpose. Some people are recommended to take it for management purpose to help them reverse whatever ailment. So if someone that is prone to have ulcer now, I can say take just 1 spoon of this, because you are just using it for preventive purpose. But for somebody that is already managing ulcer, the recommendation will be different. So they're all beneficial, but they vary per consumption.
Wow. So it's very, very important for you to actually know what you want to achieve before you go into it.
Yes.
All right. The next
Yes.
question is, if you notice, there's this buzz in Nigeria now. Everybody is learning to make their own yogurt. Some make all kinds of yogurts. Now, the question is, do all yogurts contain probiotics? And some of the things we see online, is there a particular way for us to make this yogurt, or a particular process to follow when we are making this yogurt in order to keep the good bacteria alive?
So most yogurts are probiotics. In fact, all of them are probiotics because they are made from fermenting milk with bacterial culture. But
Okay.
their level of probiotic varies depending on how they process them, the amount of whatever composition they're using to make them. So that's why sometimes we have sweetened yogurt, we have unsweetened, sometimes we have Greek yogurt and the like. So depending on what you are trying to achieve, that determines the consistency, the level of composition of what they're using. So, but all yogurts are probiotic because they're made from fermenting milk.
Wow. So yogurt is actually very good when it comes to gut health. All right. The next question is, good. Are all fermented foods probiotic?
Yeah, all fermented food are probiotics. But there are some fermented food that they use, what's it called? There's, what's it called? Not all of them, because some of them are not naturally fermented by themselves. They use apple cider vinegar for the fermentation process. So in the case while we have those ones, they are not regarded as probiotics, but they can be fermented. They are fermented food, but because of how they have made them, they are not probiotics. But the one that has gone through natural, so the idea is to just check to make sure that it has gone through natural fermentation process by itself.
Okay. So the process of making it and what you use in achieving that is also very important thing to consider.
Important. So if they use an external active ingredient, it might not be regarded as probiotic. It's going to be fermented, but it will not count as probiotic.
Okay. Wow, that's clearer now. All right. There's also this thing I saw online. A lot of people are saying the water sieved out from your pap is probiotics, and a lot of people are also saying, you know, this saying in Nigeria that Gary has been saving lives since 19 whatever. So the question is, the water from your sieved pap, will it also be considered as probiotic? And also our fufu and Gary, are they also probiotics?
Capital letter, yes. The water from your sieved pap is probiotics because it has gone through natural fermentation process by itself. So that's why, if you notice, our great grandmothers and our mothers in the village, they normally use that water from sieved pap to make what they call, I can't remember the name they call it now, but they use it to mix like herbs and leaves. I don't know. Yes, that's the water from the sieve pap. So they can take like lemongrass, they can take other kind of, leaves and soak the water from the sieve pap and then use it. So it's good probiotic. It facilitates digestion. 100% is good. 100% is very good. The water from sieve pap is very good. Then fufu and gari, they are probiotics too.
Okay. So this clearly shows that in Nigeria, we actually have, unlike the popular opinion, we actually have, or most of our food are actually enough to keep us healthy. The only problem is when we don't have the right information. All right. So before I let you go, I have one more question to ask. Now, does taking probiotic automatically does it automatically heal your gut health or make you feel healthy?
Or is it something
Yes,
that
yes,
has to be a
yes.
continuous thing?
It does. It could be a continuous thing, but like we are, all these things are lifestyle. So, but it's not compulsory that you live like that every time. It's something you can do intermittently from time to time. Create
Okay.
like a regimen or a schedule for yourself. But yes, it does heal the gut health, facilitate bowel movement, ease digestion, work, help metabolism process, and the likes. So for those that already have health issues and all that, it's always good for them to keep in check and continue, you know, with the process. But it is what it is. It's good, it's healthy, and let's practice it.
Okay. Thank you so, so much, Mr. Tunde. And please, if you have
Thank
any
you.
other question or concern outside what we have talked about, please put it in the chat section. Or if you are on the wellness group, please put it down there and the nutritionist will reach out to you for a private consultation that addresses whatever that is specific to you. And moving right on, we also want to address the issue of the fact that how you also prepare this food are very important. It's one thing to have anti-inflammatory food, it's one thing to have probiotics in your meal, but how you prepare this food are actually as important as the food you're eating. Like he mentioned, some of the anti-inflammatory foods he mentioned, they are some of the ingredients, they are very sensitive to heat. They are very sensitive to high heat and other cooking mistakes that we make when we are cooking this food. So that is why it is very important to pay attention the way you cook the food and the kind of material you use in cooking this. Now, I wanted Mr. Tunde to also tell us more about that. So maybe before we let him go on the call, we might bring him back again to talk about it, because I heard when during his presentation, he talked about polyphenols also being good anti-inflammatory foods, and also your antioxidants and phytochemicals. Now, with the knowledge we have about nutrition and the effect their cooking method have on them, you find out that all this we just mentioned, they don't survive when you cook them under high heat. And oxidation too is one of the things that can also deprive you of this health goodness, of this anti-inflammation in the food even before you finish cooking them. So it's one thing to know what you're going to eat, but it's also another thing to use the right method and the right cookware. And that is where Saladmaster comes in. We don't just give you the health information. We show you the best techniques for you to cook your food, and we give you the best material that cooks your food by preserving the nutrients in them and eliminating all the bad choices we make that make us lose nutrients. Now, because of our time, I'm going to hand over to Amarachi. I think she's prepared, she's ready to lead us through the preparation of our lunch, which is, what are we having, by the way, for lunch?
So what we are having for lunch. Anyways, thank you so much, Mr. Tunde, for that amazing presentation. Right. So what we have for lunch is cabbage and mushroom stir fry.
Wow, that sounds interesting.
And the items we'll be adding together is our carrots, our bell peppers, onions, turmeric, black pepper, and natural seasoning with fonio. So, okay. Yes, right about now, we have to kickstart. Do you still want to say anything?
Yeah. No, you've said it, but I think we'll just get right into it. So for those of you who don't know what fonio is, it is locally called acha. So you can get it in any big superstore or from those malams that are selling healthy grains. Oh, it's hard to open. So they are very tiny. So when you're buying yours, make sure you buy the ones that has already been destoned. They are very tiny. Now, when it comes to fiber, fonio is one of the best food you can actually go for. Yeah, I hope you can see that very clearly. Now, this is very easy to cook. It requires just very little water to cook and very short amount of time for you to cook it. So it's also a very fast meal that you can have on the go. And we are pairing that with cabbage stir fry and mushroom. Remember, we are not using chicken. beef, fish, or any other thing just because it is 30 days healthy food challenge. And when you, sorry, just because you are going plant-based. And one thing you have to understand when it's plant-based is for every animal-based protein you remove, you make sure you replace it with a plant-based protein. So you can use your tofu, you can use your mushroom, but today we are using our mushroom. You can see it's already been shredded. All right, so back to you, Amarachi, while I help you wash your phone.
All right, thank you. So we've already preheated our electric oil core skillet. We talked about it last week. So we just go ahead. And if you want to know when it's ready, just sprinkle water. If you see the crystal bubbles, you know that it is ready. So I'm going in with my onions. So the next thing I'll be adding is bell peppers, the red, yellow, and green bell pepper. In Saladmaster, when you want to fry, you crack your skillet half open. That's what I'm going to be doing right now. Then I'm going in with my carrots. And my cabbage. Then my natural seasoning. Pinch of salt. Then our turmeric. Because of the sun.
Can you adjust the pan?
Okay. Turmeric and black pepper.
Yeah. That's too much.
Mm.
Open it, let them see. Open it. Yeah, okay, you can turn off the fan.
So you stir.
You added your olive oil.
No, yeah.
Okay. So when you're done, and just drizzle your olive oil on it. Huh? Add your olive oil.
We go in with our mushroom. and sprinkle a little olive oil. You drizzle with a little
your olive oil. So you can actually use your coconut oil or your almond oil if that is what you have.
This is amazing.
But why your olive oil is very good is because it contains polyphenol. And when it comes to your heart health, polyphenol is a very good antioxidant that helps to keep your heart healthy. So, and if you notice the way we are using it, it is one thing to have the right kind of oil. It's also another thing to know how to use them. Now, most times, because of the conventional cooking method we use, we end up destroying the polyphenols in the olive oil even before we get to eat them. So you make sure you don't overheat your oil. Now, if you notice, because we are using the electric oil core skillet, our stir fry is not soggy. Because when you cook the Saladmaster way, your food not only retain their nutrients, also they retain their moisture right inside them. Now look at how fresh this looks. It's not looking soggy, it's just looking yummy. Now, because it is vegetable we have added now, we keep it close. What we are trying to do is make sure that this cooks in a non-oxidative environment. That way we retain the texture and the essential vitamins and minerals in the food. So the food will come out retaining their natural colors and at the same time retaining up to 93% of the nutrients in them. Yes, and for those of you that are joining us live on TikTok, not to worry, by Tuesday, we are going to have a rerun of this. But go ahead, share all the likes, and also drop your comments there. We attend to it shortly. All right, so while our stir fry is on fire, here we are preheating our 3 quarts, which we are going to use to make the fonio. Now, we have thoroughly washed this. Now, I'm going to show you something. A lot of people complain that when they, after cooking their fonio, their acha, as it's called here, it comes out soggy. Now, we're going to use a little method that actually makes it stand on their own. Now, you know, fonio, they are very tiny grains and they cook very fast. So I'm going to drop a little olive oil, or make sure you're not heating it. Then I'm going to drop in my already washed fonio into it and do a little bit of stir frying just to loosen it up. So you just add it. So you just stir fry it a little bit. Now, when you're adding water, I'm using an already boiled water because I want everything to come out very firm and looking nice. So I'm just going to go in and add very little amount of water. Now, it is best you start out by adding just very little water. Then by the time the water dries up, if it's not what you want, you can now go ahead and add more water. Now, when you're using this, if you're buying it from the local market, make sure you take your time and be intentional when you're washing it because it comes with a lot of sand. Then I'm going to add just a little bit of our sea salt. And then we cover it. Where is the cover? Okay. Now it takes about 2 to 3 minutes for it to cook. Now, right over here, you can hear our electric skillet clicking. If you are a Saladmaster user, you already know what it means. But for those of you who are not conversant with Saladmaster, what this means is it wants us to reduce the heat. Remember, when you cook with Saladmaster, it keeps the cooking experience very controlled. What it's doing is letting us know that the temperature in this cookware is about to exceed 86 degrees, which is actually the optimal temperature for you to cook your food to better retain the nutrients without killing any of them. Now, look at how green this food looks. If you were here last week, remember we mentioned that the color of your food is as important as the taste of the food. Why? Because the color of your food represents the vitamins in the food. So it is important that we retain these vitamins. And what is one way to do it? To make sure that your food retain their natural color. And with Saladmaster, your food always come out looking very colorful. Now look at this. Now, if you can perceive what we're doing, you can see that all the ingredients has been, in fact, the people behind the camera, they wish they are the ones standing where I am now. So see how this looks very colorful and it tastes very, very delicious. So I also want to give a shout out to Mrs. Taibat Molomo again. She just sent in her breakfast that she made. And
amazing.
Please, let's encourage her in the group. And for those of you who are cooking and eating alone, please do well to share the love to other people in the community. And I can see that Stephanie is keeping the group hyper active. She's dropping in a lot of useful informations there. She's dropping the teasers and all of that. So if you are in the group and you have not been there, do well to visit there this morning. All right, so Amarachi, let's hear from you. What are we having next?
Is our dinner. It's our dinner. So it's the same salad we made last week Saturday.
Oh, that's true.
Yes.
Yeah, last week Saturday we have this delicious and amazing avocado salad. And I don't know why that is coming up in the menu again. Maybe because we loved it so much. And right, so thank you to the nutritionist for giving us that again. And this is actually what each and everyone can make at home. Try making this avocado salad in your home. Now they are packed with lots of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants that are very good just to help your body, boost your immune system, and keep you healthy. And remember, after going through a detoxification process, it's also very important that you're careful about the things you put inside your system. And I also want to use this opportunity while we're waiting for our food to cook, to also talk about one thing that a lot of people have asked me about. Now, some people like us, most time when we started out on our Saladmaster journey, our aim then wasn't necessarily to join the Saladmaster business. Most of us joined it because of the life experience we had, or because we want to achieve a better health. Like I shared my story last week of how Saladmaster actually helped me to achieve a better health and bounce back even when the doctors didn't think that it was possible. So I shared what my diagnosis was. And if I am standing here today talking about standing in front of you and having this session, is a testament that cooking the Saladmaster way, using the right cooking method like we show you, and using the Saladmaster cookware to cook your food is actually the best step to you achieving a better health. Why? When you cook in Saladmaster, you eliminate some of the limitations we have that when it comes to our health. Take, for instance, there is no toxin or metal leaching into your food. Now, imagine when you have a health condition that would have been easy, that would have been something minor, but they tell you because of an underlying illness or because of certain things that are happening in your body, it can bring about a lot of complications, like having metal in your brain or in your bloodstream. It can actually mess up everything. So the best time for us to actually cure an illness is before it ever gets started. And that is why Saladmaster was designed for people like you and I, who are so vested in their health. And also, if you're passionate about sharing the same Saladmaster good news with other people and also earn a living out of it, we are calling on you to join us. You can partner with us without you having to be actively involved in it. I have a client who you think she has everything and there's no need for her to join this business. But guess what? Because of her passion in helping people around her to achieve a healthier lifestyle, just like she and her family, she joined this business. What does she do? Just help us book this appointment. The people you love to see become healthier. Share the Saladmaster information with them. We will go and show them this health presentation. And when they invest in Saladmaster, you get rewarded either by getting some fantastic Saladmaster pieces like what I have and this, or you can even choose to get the monetary incentive out of it. But whatever your reason is, whether you're already using Saladmaster, you want to upgrade, or you are still skeptical about seeing our presentation, or you have seen the presentation, you are in the process of making up your mind whether this is good for you. I challenge you today to take that bold step towards your health. Take that bold step and say, hey, today I am going to invest in my health. A lot of people invest in different kinds of insurance. We have life insurance, we have health insurance, all manner of insurance. Now, these are all very good, but they only pay out when the event has already happened. The best insurance you can have is when you insure your health before they even get to happen. When you insure your body against certain illnesses, just by making the right choices every day, that is the best thing you can do for yourself. I don't want to talk so much and bore you with that. Let's go ahead and check our food. I think our veggies are ready now. So just go ahead and turn off. Look at this. It is all ready. If you notice one thing, the color retention is still there. We are not capping. This is not an advert. When you cook your food in Saladmaster, you are guaranteed of a 93% nutritional retention. If you are still in doubt, let us book that appointment. Come and show you this health presentation. You see everything play out right in your home. All right, I think our food, our lunch is ready.
Yes, why you check the phone, you know?
Oh, okay.
I prepare
All right.
the dinner. Wow. So we have our.
Sorry, let me just quickly show them.
Okay.
This, our fonio is all done. Please, can you help me get a fork? Look at this. See how it's looking, and you can see it is not soggy at all. And this was cooked in less than 3 minutes. Wow. So this is a healthy substitute for those who are trying to reduce their carb intake. Look at this. Oh my God. Look at this.
So
Won't you just love this? Yeah, so our fonio is ready. Our stir fry is also ready. So we just go ahead and dish this for them to see. Okay. All right, so Amachi, you can carry on with your
Okay,
dinner.
so we have our avocado salad. We already have bell peppers. That's the yellow bell pepper, the green bell pepper, and the red bell pepper. We go in with that. We go in with our red onion and our roughly chopped tomatoes, our minced garlic. So if you were here last week, Saturday, it's going to be an easy one for you. Then our roughly chopped parsley. Avocado. Then for dressing, we add our olive oil and black pepper. Then you stir. Very easy to make.
Yes, please. Sorry?
My garlic. It's nice now.
Okay, so to make your minced garlic, you can use your grater, or if you have your Saladmaster machine, you can use any of the cones, maybe your cone 2 or your cone 3, to just, in other words, it's shredded garlic. Sorry, help me stop it. Okay, don't worry.
So this is it. Our avocado salad is ready. Enjoy.
All right. And right over here, we are done serving our lunch. Your cabbage stir fry paired with ponyo or ata.
wow.
I know someone on this call who is actually smiling or probably laughing seeing me do this. She is big on presentation. And when it comes to Saladmaster and good living, we also believe that presentation is actually very big. Because like I said earlier, we eat with our eyes before we digest with our stomach. So this is actually looking very good. And if you notice what I did here, I loaded my plate with much of the stir fry. So it's also very good when you want to eat your vegetables, you make sure they are double the size of whatever you're pairing them with. So look at this. This is how easy it is for you to eat healthily. If you notice, it didn't really take much time for you to do it. Gone are the days that we believe that eating healthy takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of money, maybe it's quite stressful. You can see that with Saladmaster, eating healthy is just easy peasy. You can have your meals on the go. Because when you cook with Saladmaster, not only are we retaining the nutrients in your food, it's also saving you time in the kitchen. Why? Because the way the cookware is designed is actually designed to help you cook your food very fast, cook your food very close to their natural state, and save you time in the kitchen. Now imagine what you can do with all that time in the kitchen. All right, so while we're also looking out for those who have questions, God's favor, is there any question on the call?
Yes, someone asked if
the dinner. What about it? Okay, so here we have our dinner. They said I must talk about the dinner, though Amarachi had already done justice to that. You can see that even though it's not cooked, it has a little bit of everything you actually need. Look at how moist. Your healthy eating doesn't have to be dry. Your salad doesn't have to be dry just because you're removing the unnecessary salad creams and mayonnaise that we use in eating our food. Now, when you eat your food this way, you see that the avocado is already giving you all the healthy fatty omega-3 fatty acids that you need for your system to work. We also have tomato, which is very good. It contains lycopene, which is also very good antioxidant that helps to prevent certain cancers and inflammation. And also, you added black pepper, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, black pepper is also very good because it helps to activate some of the anti-inflammatory properties in our food so that your body can quickly and easily assimilate them. All right, so while we are preparing to make the last thing you have in the night, which is your cabbage juice, we are just using cabbage, ginger, green apple, and celery to make that. So you can actually have this after you have had your dinner, maybe before you go to bed, you just find time to have it. Yeah, so I want to take this moment to also reflect on what the journey have been. We have gone from detoxification to anti-inflammatory and probiotics. And the journey does not end here. This is just day 13. We still have 17 more days to go. And we have beyond the 30 days for us to pursue healthy eating. So I want to implore all of us not just to end this with these 30 days. Make it a lifestyle. Now, one good thing is it is actually sustainable and is also something that every member of the family can adopt. So let's make this a habit. Let's make it become part of us. Like the nutritionist mentioned, every now and then, intermittently go on a detox program. And after that, make sure you get as many nutrients into as many vitamins and minerals into your system as possible, because that is the only way your body draws from to protect you from these illnesses. Instead of looking towards drugs, instead of looking towards supplements every now and then, why not we look to our food first? And if you're having challenge making the right choices, if you're having challenge knowing what works for you and your family, please feel free to reach out to us either through our WhatsApp group, or you can reach out to us through all our social media handles, which we are going to be putting on the platform as well. Make sure you reach out to us, or you can reach out to the consultant who invited you on this call or who came to show you the presentation. And we have our team always ready to help you with that. All right, so I'm trying to have a look at what our our next week focus will be on. So Amashi, let me know when you're ready to start blending.
Yes.
All right.
Our cabbage juice is ready.
Wow. Okay, so also sometimes when we talk about juice and smoothie, a lot of people just believe when you take out the fiber, it is juice, and when you blend it with the fiber, it is smoothie. Well, because we don't approve of you taking out the fiber. Why? Because we understand the importance of fiber. Now, to differentiate your smoothie and your juice, you can just make your juice a bit more watery than the consistency you get when you are doing your smoothie. It is very important to, it's very important that someone is trying to call me on Zoom. Please, someone is trying to reach out to us. So it's very important that you eat your food whole. Make sure you eat all the nutrients in the food. All right. So for next week, like I said before, the 30 days healthy food challenge still continues. Today is just day 13. And a lot of people who are consistent with it are actually smashing it. They are getting their best health, they are getting in shape and all that. Now, next week, we are going to be doing more of detox and clean eating. What that means is the whole of next week, there's not going to be any form of cooked food. But not to worry, for week 4, we are going to win you back to cooked food and all that. So, like we always say, make sure you stay dehydrated every point in time. Don't wait till when you are thirsty before you drink water. Drink water as many times as possible. And also, don't limit yourself to just eating 3 meals per day. If you notice from breakfast to dinner, what we have on our menu, you must have eaten up to 6, 7 times. So the idea is not for you to wait till when it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner intermittently. In between, just make sure you are snacking on healthy snacks. Make sure that you are also refueling your body at every point in time. Please drink as much water as you can. And very importantly, please avoid a sedentary lifestyle. If your kind of job is one that requires you to sit down for a long time, please make sure at every point in time you move around, and also try getting into a routine, adopting some not really stressful exercises. Make sure you're moving your body. You can go into cardio, taking a walk, anything that works for you. And for those of you who are already in a routine, make sure you keep to that. What is important is you knowing the reason why you embarked on this journey in the first place. And if you have any challenge, you have any question, you have further inquiries on how you can actually use healthy food or healthy lifestyle in order to combat any kind of illness you have, please do well to reach out to us and we will be glad to help you. So until next week, Saturday, on behalf of our team, both those behind the camera and my beautiful lady here standing, my name is Gladys Famiesin once again, and we would like to sign out here. Now, don't forget, for our Muslim brothers, it is the Ramadan, and the Christians, it is the Lent period. Now, because of that, we have extended our promo set from last week, where we have the 5 quarts walk and the 7 quarts walk, going for 3,999,999. Yeah, that's actually funny, but it's going for 3,999,999 naira. Wow, that's great. So why not take take this opportunity and either upgrade, add to what you already have, or take that decision and invest in Saladmaster. Remember, we said consistency is what gets you there. Now, what is consistency? If you cook one meal in Saladmaster and cook the next one in your non-stick pot or your aluminum pot. So with one hand, you're putting in the good thing, and another hand, you're adding in the toxins, the metals, and all the chemical reactions back into your system. So in order to be consistent, take this opportunity, invest in your health, invest in this body that you're going to live in for the rest of your life. On behalf of the master dealer, we say thank you so much. And it's been a wonderful time sharing this morning with you. So until next time, bye-bye and stay nutri-minded.
Thank you so much. And we'll be having this cook school in all Saturdays of this 30 days challenge.
Exactly.
Please, we crave your indulgence to always join, right? We crave your indulgence to always join. Tell your family members to join as well, because they will definitely learn 1 or 2 things that will help them to stay healthy and live a healthier life. Thank you so much. I still remain your one and only Amarachi Phillips. Have a good day.
Bye.